Hey guys, today we're having a look at the Starship Select Ghost. This is brand new for, I think, 2024. I'm not sure if it's all the way out in stores yet, but this one was good enough to get on eBay. I typically don't do that, but I found one auction at a pretty okay price, and I've been waiting for this one for a really long time, so I went ahead and picked it up. It's the Ahsoka version of the Rebels Ghost. The hero ship from the cartoon with Ezra and Sabine and Kanan and all that. Let's go ahead and look at the model. Actually, I'll show you the stand. It's the same as all the Starship Select stands. Comes in the two pieces, so you can disassemble it, I guess, for storage or to put it back in the box. Just the Phoenix logo, same as all the other stands. Let's get to the real news. This is, I'm thinking they're going for the Ahsoka version. There's no actual Ahsoka branding on the box. It just looks like standard Starship Select. They don't actually give you any sort of breakdown of what the ship is. You just kind of have to know. But the coloration, it's very dark in the Ahsoka show. I have things to say about the paint job, but we'll get into the sculpt first. Give you a look at the front. It's pretty dark. Just all over. It looks like they just kind of dumped a bucket of gray paint on it. But the mold is very special to me because if you notice, it's actually the update that the Ghost got. It's like Season 2 Rebels and onward. They flattened out this section here and here, and then they also they took a big chunk, like they took an X-Acto and just cut a big chunk out of the bottom. I'll compare it to some of the older Ghosts later on so that you can see. There's a lot of little differences on this one. The vein, or whatever it was, on the bottom used to be wider and didn't have this little divot and didn't angle upward as much. I always really preferred this look for the Ghost as it appeared, Season 2 Rebels, and then Rogue One and Rise of Skywalker, and now Ahsoka. The reason I'm a little iffy on whether or not it's actually supposed to be the Ahsoka Ghost is the vein is the Rogue One model, where it's very thin and more of a vein. On the Ahsoka show, it's actually a built-up metal strut that goes all the way across the bottom. This is much thinner than that, and this is basically exactly how it appears in Rogue One, except the color scheme is much darker. The cockpit is painted, that glossy black that they use for cockpits, which is fine. Not much of a complaint there. There's the gun turret. They sculpted the guns directly into the body of the ship, which means they're pretty low profile, and it just kind of sticks up a little bit and doesn't look like it's an actual gun. Interesting way to deal with that problem. As you can see, it doesn't have any version of the Phantom in there. Further credence that this is supposed to be the Rogue One version. I mean, it doesn't have the Phantom for like an episode of Ahsoka, but doesn't have the Phantom in there. They didn't detail the hatch or anything where the Phantom goes, but that's fine. There's plenty of little greeblies in there for you to look at. What's odd to me about the paint is, like I already said, it's very just kind of uniform gray, and then the highlights are sort of pastel colors. I'm just kind of I'm lukewarm on the paint for this thing in general. I think I've seen much better Starship Select paint jobs, like the Falcon, I think is much more successful. It definitely just looks like it has more detail, and they used the available colors better here. Painted the engines, for one. There's no painted engines on this one. That would have helped a lot. They even had the yellow color that they could have used for the engines. And they also had the black for the engines, all of this is supposed to be black. All these engines. And they used black on this, and they decided not to paint the engines. It's odd. But there's the bottom. That awesome flat bit that I was talking about before. I love the look of this ship. It's a little more squat, less tall, and it definitely lost some weight. It's slimmed down a little bit for its first movie appearance in Rogue One. You can see they even modeled the little bit of engine exhaust piping right there on this side as well. You can see it right on the bottom. This little bit of the engines is plastic. It's a little wiggly, but it's on there. There's no worries. Yeah. I definitely wish they had painted the engines. It would have given the ship a little more presence, a little more black back here. I don't know. It's just, yeah, kind of lukewarm on the paint job for this thing. But the mold, very happy with the mold. I mean, look at all the greeblies. Panel lines look great. Very, very good looking sculpt for this thing. Mold sculpt. I'll use the words interchangeably. I would like a little Phantom to pop in and out of there, but I know that's too much to ask. They don't really do removable pieces with the Starship Select line. So to remedy that, what I did 3 weeks before I got that, because that took a while to come in, I actually just got a 3D printer recently, around the Christmas season, and I found a Phantom model on Sketchfab for free, because I didn't want to actually buy any, because I didn't know if I could print it right. I found a Phantom model on Sketchfab and just loaded it into Cura and quickly printed out this little facsimile of the Phantom. And it printed like crap. It's really not very good, but the thing is so small you can kind of squint your eyes and not see it. I painted it all the wrong colors, but it was mostly just to get it ready for this showing. It actually fits in pretty good, you know, for me not knowing how big this thing was going to be. I just kind of ballparked it, and it does just kind of slot in there. So that's fun. I think if they were going for more of an Ahsoka ghost, it definitely shows up more with the Phantom 2 docked than it does without it. I thought it would be a fun little thing to paint up a little Phantom. I'll definitely give it a better paint job in the future, but for now, that'll do. I can tack it in place with some of that sticky tack putty. That is most of the details on the ship. You can see there's supposed to be a hatch here, an entrance hatch, and it looks like this plastic bit has taken up most of that space. Not a deal breaker. Still looks pretty cool. This was always one of my favorite hero ships from Rebels, and I think the sculpt they did definitely does it justice. The paint job, I'm still kind of could use some improvement. I may get myself a second one when these finally hit retail near me. But for now, I'm just going to leave it alone. Let's do a little comparison between the previous... Forgive this one. This one looks like it's been through a world war, because all my old Hot Wheels ships that, you know, the ones that aren't rare, just went into a box like years and years ago, and they've just been rattling around in there, and there's a lot of heat damage. That's irresponsible of me, but if any of you who are getting older and realizing that you can't keep your old toys out all the time, you got to find a home for them, and sometimes that home is a hot box in the attic that ruins all your plastic bits. But yeah, you can see it chipped off. Mostly this is here to just compare the old Rebels Season 1 mold, which the Ghost got done a lot of. They did a lot of molds of the first season version, where it's the fatter version. If you can see here how this area is flattened out, and this area has that curve all the way up the edge. And the fatter bit. This whole... Hey, they used to do this with the old Hot Wheels stuff. Got all blocky where the stand needed to go in. I just thought that was kind of a bad design. You just have a peg hole and not have to, you know, do that with the design. The screw hole is a little more forgivable. But the you can see the difference, excuse me, with the bottom. It's much flatter. They cut out a lot of that bulk in the back. Definitely like the new version here. Much better. And that's most of the stuff to go over with the Starship Select Ghost. Just wanted to give some of you guys a good look at it, because I remember when this thing was first announced, I was looking at pictures and I was like, oh man, that looks like the Rebels Season 1 version again, so I was a little disappointed. And then I saw on eBay, somebody had taken a picture of it from like that side, and I could see that they did all the new alterations, and I was absolutely over the moon, and I'm like, oh man, I need to get one of these as soon as possible. So if you're a fan of the Ghost's appearance in the movies and Ahsoka, less so Ahsoka, because there's a couple things we went over that are different, but it's definitely a dead ringer for the Rogue One and Rise of Skywalker and versions with all the extra added detail. If you're a fan of those, go ahead and pick this one up, because definitely a fan of the sculpt. Well, that's it for that one. I know I've been gone for a while recently, but as you know, stuff goes on and, you know, videos don't get made, but I found something in this Ghost that I thought was worth making a video on. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.